Thank you, Gabrielle, and welcome everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Ariana Holland, and I am a proud Black entrepreneur, a millennial, born in the 80s, and I have been on my road of discovering my passion and discovering what I want to actually leave as a footprint into this world. It's been something that has been a journey, and speaking specifically to um, the temperature of Black Lives Matter in the cusp simultaneously with a pandemic, aside from the rage and aside from the vulnerabilities that brought up, it allowed me to really deep dive internally into myself and really look at the things that I had kind of put into a box of this is what I've arrived to, and this is kind of where I'm at. It allowed me to really deep dive and ask myself, where have I been? What narrative have I given myself as an interior designer, as a person, and as a Black person? Interestingly enough, I found in diving into a personal and professional kind of um, seesaw, I found this interlying relationship of finding a lack of identity in being Black. And I think there's no secret in interior design. You can look at it in magazines, you can look at it in interior design offices, you can look at it in the platforms in which you go to conferences and the makers that you buy things from. It is whitewashed. And I have struggled in my quest of finding the courage to becoming an entrepreneur and creating a box collective because of those triggers that have brought me to a place of lacking identity. And I think perhaps that's something that we can all identify ourselves in, is moments where we've been vulnerable, where we've lacked identity, and how that stifles courage, that stifles confidence. And that kind of brought me to the lens of thinking, what were the stories that I've been told being Black, and how has that kind of triggered me in Black Lives Matter, and feeling like I've given and forecasted a correct and accurate, honest truth about being Black. On a professional standpoint, I think, in given some backstory, I come from Boston, Massachusetts. I come from a father who is a dark-skinned Black African American and a mother who is white passing, biracial, Italian, and Cape Verdean. Cape Verde's on the west part of Africa. The stories that I've been told have come from a white passing mother that has not been quite able to direct me and navigate me in standing for just being Black. And instead, I found a reality that I have been defaulting into clicking the box of being other as opposed to clicking the box of being Black. And I thought of that in my struggles in identifying the teams that I've worked with and the mentors and the people that I love. This identity has been a problem for me, as it's allowed me to grow and allowed me to gain confidence, both professionally and personally. And then on my father's side, my father, I've strategically mentioned that he's a dark-skinned Black American because I think the conversation about Black as it relates to the scheme and relates to the spectrum of Black is often shunned upon as well, where my father has been very vocal about the lack of opportunity he's had of being able to do things like this platform and be in a space to be celebrated and be in a space of sharing your truth where you're able to be heard. And I think that has kind of been the silver lining for me in trickling back to my discovery of gaining confidence and defining that in order for me to even exist in a world that has a whitewash on Black, the only way that I think I could be an interior designer is I have to do it myself. I have to have a box collective. I have to do something that I have the control and mold from myself, and not something that I'm conforming to what society is telling me I need to conform to. I think in the story that I tell from that, and coming from a mother that is white passing and that is biracial, and a father that's dark skinned and black, the struggles that I hold from the two of those paths are part of my truth. And I think that I celebrate in being an interior designer and being in offering something to the world, that it comes from a place of honesty, and it comes from a place of discovery. And I think that I invite everyone to find those moments in their self, just in reflection of Black Lives Matter, of the sensitivity that Black people are in need of being identified. And that's just at the very cusp. I mean, we need to be on multiple platforms. We need to see ourselves on all of the offerings that exist right now. And I think in speaking to it in light of social justice, I asked to tell the story that the things that tell your truth become the beauty and the things that we've collected and we've thrown in our box. Let's always leave space for finding the beauty in our truth, and also being willing to sharing our truth. And I really would just want to thank platforms such as this that have allowed individuals like myself to be vulnerable and speak both on a professional and personal scale, which is mind-blowing, and be given the opportunity to share in a place of truth and a place of vulnerability. I say that all, and to tie it all up is in finding identity and finding the beauty, the silver lining for yourself in support of Black Lives Matter. I absolutely have to applaud the things that I've been given as tools, from having a dark-skinned Black father that has pushed more of the lessons to be learned, and the being tenacious, being humble, the things that build your character essentially should be something in the box that for me is going to be an offering I can only honestly dish out to the world. So I invite you all to think of what's something that you can find your honesty in that could possibly help celebrate Black lives finally, and allow us to be on platforms and allow us to be a part of an identity that we are all deserving of. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that opening perspective, Ariana.